Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode on AUST on Queen Amina TV. Good day. I am Amina Ilyasu. And together with me today is the head of Civil Engineering Department, African University of Science and Technology here in Galadimawa, Abuja. We'll be discussing today with him, and he is no one but Dr. Olusegun Toluhi. Oh, I know our viewers there were expecting me to say Obasanjo. No, it's not our Baba. This is our doctor right here. He is a civil engineer, and we'll be discussing together on this platform today. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you so very much for having me. Thank you, audience, for having me.
Sir, before I say anything, our viewers, I can already see them. They are already asking, Dr. Olusegun Toluhi, who is this man? What does he eat? How does he sleep? What does he like drinking? How many wives has he got? I don't want to talk too much. Hey, Amina, the horse is here. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. So, sir, tell us about yourself.
Okay, incidentally, audience, again, it's a good time to be here. Olusegun Toluhi is not a horse, he is a man. And Olusegun Toluhi actually didn't set out to be an engineer. I was one of those confused students because I remember I did all kinds of subjects growing up at the secondary school. And because of certain things, and it wasn't the time when we had advisors and career counseling, as baby boomers. So we just went to school, we read, and we happened on our careers. So Olusegun Toluhi went to school, did well, went to the university, and when he was going to graduate, his lecturers put him together, and a number of them were like, oh, go read medicine, go read architecture. But my first passion actually was aeronautical. I wanted to become an aeronautical engineer because I grew up in Kaduna, and in my father's house, we had students from Kaduna Poly who were doing aeronautical engineering. So that was my first attraction. But by the time I grew up and I was ready, there was no university then offering aeronautical engineering, and I didn't want to go to the Poly. Okay, I did too well to actually go to the Poly. So I went to the university, and then I put in for engineering, and I'm happy that I was that guided.
Doctor, that wasn't a confusion. It was your calling. And we are happy you are here. Now you are doing the work. And today we're here talking to you. So our theme for today is building the future, engineering resilient infrastructure for Africa. Do you know why I'm interested in this institute? Because it's Africa. So it's wide. I've been calling on you people. Come and see this place. African University of Science and Technology is not a joke. It's a place you want to be. If you cannot be here, then your children should be here. Sir? How would you describe the mission of civil engineering in this institute? What is the department trying to achieve?
Okay, it's a very simple one because in the department here at AUST, our primary goal is to produce professional engineers as against producing graduate engineers. There's a whole lot of difference. You have graduate engineers who leave universities and they are filled with all kinds of principles and theories and how things should be done and had never tried doing it. But here what we're trying to say is, come in here and we'll train you how to go use what we are training you for. Because in Africa, we don't need too much precepts. What we need is practice. And here in civil engineering, our mission is to produce professional civil engineers.
Right. Sir, so if I may ask you now, those people are right there watching us, and they can hear the way you're talking about this institute, and you're insisting that in Africa, all we need is practical. We need more of practical. Let's say 80% practical. So why do you think a young person who wants to study engineering should come to AUST?
A number of issues. Because you see, the world has collapsed. It's now a face of a coin. It's unlike those times when we're reading where we think that for you to get information from ordinary UK here that's just 6 hours, you're going to have to wait months and weeks. It's a face of a coin now. So whatsoever you're doing must be such that it has its applicability and appeal to the global world. So in AUST, an institution that started as a research institute, if you know the records and if you followed it, you will see that when they started, this school has been there for over 20 years, 2 decades actually, over 2 decades. But they started by churning out post-grad students, just masters and PhD, which ordinarily in all universities, all they do is to do research. Undergrad is to teach you with the principles and the underground things to underpin whatsoever it is we want to learn. The institute has done so much in the masters and in producing the PhD students, and they are all over the world now, all over the world and pulling their weight and doing it. So we're looking at it and say, okay, if you have succeeded that much, why do we not percolate it down to the undergrads? So the same principle with which we were training the postgrads, let's begin to train the undergrads. So we are now applying those same principles to those things that already exist in Nigeria. And I would say any student who truly want to make hay out there and make a mark in the marketplace, this is where to come. Because what we do, if we get to it, we'll talk about it. There are certain fundamentals that drive what we do here at the university. One of them is project-based learning. What do we mean by project-based learning? It means that when you come to the university on the first ballot will give you a project that you now need to begin to think about. If I'm teaching you thermodynamics, for instance, I'm making thermodynamics alive to you. And how best can I make it alive? I'm looking at an AC, a brand new AC. I am removing a component inside it, and I'm teaching you all that you need to do to make an AC work. And I'm putting the AC before you. All that you have learned. Let me check. Diagnose this AC. Is it working? First, it's not working. Then diagnose it. Why is it not working? So you bring all the principles of those thermodynamics that you have learned to decipher the problem and profile the solution. That way, we believe strongly that by the time you leave here, your thermodynamics will just not be in principles alone or in theories. It will be a thermodynamics that you can open shop to sell to the marketplace.
Have you heard from the doctor? He said he's not a horse. So let me leave it like that. He is Dr. Olusegun Toluhi. Yes. So, sir, I've heard from you, and it's quite interesting. You agree with me that we have witnessed so many building collapses in Nigeria, especially in Lagos. We are always having this. So, we train graduates, civil engineering graduates from AUST. Are we expecting to see less of that in future?
Well, the chances are yes, you would. But you must understand that building is an ecosystem. To answer your question, skill is very important.
Right.
Material is very important. Fund is very important. And the regulatory scheme is very important. Now, we need to begin to look at it. When you say there's building collapse, what are the development control agencies doing? Because it is fundamentally ceded to them the right to ensure that whatever building plans that come to you is well designed.
Right.
It is your responsibility to ensure that that building, where it is going to be built, has the kind of capacity, the soil is good enough to take the load that is coming onto it. Right. It is the reason for which you see development control will tell you, you cannot build more than a bungalow here. You cannot build more than 2 floors here. You cannot build more than 3 floors here. It's because they've done a bearing capacity analysis of the soil in that vicinity. Right. Okay, so all those things, when you have put it down, regulation demands that not only must you put it forward, the laws that govern it, you must supervise it and you must enforce it. Now, so if you want to do that, you cannot leave it in the hand of just the trainers of the engineers that's going to the field. So we must be looking at each value chain of that ecosystem and begin to do that regulatory work that we need to do. And that calls for a holistic regulatory framework. With what AUST is doing to train our engineers in structural engineering that would go to fortify the aesthetics of the architectural work that has been done. Because an architect can design whatever he wants that comes into his imagination. Sure. It is the structural engineer that will tell him, okay, look, this is the limit to which this can be fortified and this is the limit to which you can go.
Right.
If it's going to stand and be safe to whoever is going to use it, which we call the end user reliability. So if that is what we are looking at, we need to be able to talk to all the professional streams that goes into it. So I cannot say on the strength of professional training of engineers, buildings will stop collapsing. Because if they did their work and you give it to a bad artisan to build who is using 10 bags of sand for 1 bag of cement, where you should be using 2 bags of sand for whatever, you understand? So if the ratios are not good, right, and you have not brought a right engineer on the field to do it, I can't guarantee anything.
Right.
So you are going to have to do the right things in the right proportion and the right mix at the right time to get the right results.
Just in one sentence, sir, can you differentiate structural engineer from civil engineer?
A structural engineer is a civil engineer, but a civil engineer is not necessarily a structural engineer. I'll tell you that. You see, the civil engineering, we have many streams. You have structures, you have geotechnics, you have water engineers, you have transportation engineer like I am, you have aerospace engineer, you have all kinds of engineers. There's a lot, it's a big wide world. But the structural engineer must automatically be a civil engineer before he goes to specialize in structures. So I am a civil engineer. I went to specialize in transportation. And in that transportation, I've gone further to specialize in highway. You're saying it now. Okay. So you keep coming. And there are a lot of highways that will go and specialize in reforms or in materials, highway materials. So it keeps going down, and the deeper you go, the wider actually it becomes.
I'm somehow confused right now because it's just going on and almost occupying everywhere. Okay. Now, you said the engineering world is so big, it's so large, and I can see that from your explanation, sir. In Nigeria today, we are experiencing insecurity issues, and insecurity affects everyone.
Absolutely.
If, in assumption, maybe tomorrow we wake up to see that the civil engineers are angry about the situation and have decided to leave this earth. Maybe they've relocated to Mars. So they are no more in this earth. What is the first aspect of the economy that will start collapsing?
It is not an economy matter. It's an existence matter.
Okay.
Existence will just automatically halt. Existence will halt. When I mean halt, it does not mean everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
You are just going to be where you are now, and you're not able to move forward. Because you see, engineers actually are the builders of infrastructure. And please bear with me when I go a little theoretical here.
Okay.
You see, when we are talking about science, science tries to give meaning to nature. What science does is it looks at nature and tries to explain it in such a way that we all can understand it. For instance, you look today, you can fly. But when you look at a plane flying, the plane just does not, except choppers and helicopters, the plane just does not take up and fly. What it does, it runs and takes off.
Yes.
It is taken after a bird. There is a bird.
Is that engineering?
Yes, there is a bird. That bird lands on water. I've forgotten the name now. It's eluded me.
Okay, so I remember.
I will remember and give it to you. That bird, and you can Google it. If you see the takeoff of that bird and the landing of that bird, you understand where aerodynamics for plane travel and air travel came from. So what science did was to study that bird. Why is it taking off this way? Why is it landing this way? And they sat back, and the Wright brothers sat down and said, okay, look, we can design a mechanism to follow that. So science just tries to understand nature, and it now proffers solutions. Not solutions, it proffers theories, put forward understandings that can be put in capsules that people can understand. So the engineers now come. You take that capsule and say, okay, how can I implement this? Because if it remains a capsule, it is useless. It is only a medication. You are going to have to take that medication before it begins to deal with whatever ailments you have.
Right.
So I'm taking that capsule as an engineer, and I'm saying, how can now make this applicable to community, to people in society, and to the economy, so that people can benefit from it. So when I'm able to look at that and I'm able to break that, then the next thing I'm thinking about is, how can I now mass produce it so that everybody can get it? So now, if you now take engineers who build that infrastructure, who does all the translation of science for the benefit of man, and you take him out of the equation, it therefore means what you have is where you are at, and it means you can't improve it. And let me go again, you can't even maintain what you have. So you see, the world will stop there and civilization will halt. So engineers are the builders of the infrastructure for the civilization of humanity. So when you take engineers out of the question, humanity stop developing. And what it therefore means is you begin to retrogress. Because nature, there's no standstill in nature. You're either making acceleration or you're decelerating.
So you mean we should stop them from going to Mars?
We can go to Mars, but we will go to Mars to improve what Earth is doing. Because we go bring, because there are some experiments today that is getting done in space.
Okay.
You know why? Because there is zero gravity in space.
Yeah.
And I hope that you know the law of gravity is just an explanation that Galileo stumbled on to say to us that, look, anything that goes up comes down.
Yes. We have been discussing with Dr. Olusegun Toluhi, the head of Civil Engineering Department